Hey everyone, if you're new to this channel, my name is Justin and this is Anxious Ambition. We give you the tools and tips you need to better control your anxiety. Today I want to tell you guys my personal anxiety story. Let's check it out. For me, it all started with sports. My first memories of anxiety were when I was playing volleyball. I think I was 15 years old, and I started doing a lot of different rituals. I started to, like other athletes, I was very superstitious. If I didn't do things a certain way before the game, during the game, then, I thought I had bad luck. And so I took that very seriously, and I got super obsessed with it. And so I'd make sure my socks were put on a certain way, my jersey was put on a certain way. When I tied my shoes, if I didn't, love the way it felt on my foot, the shoe, I would redo it and redo it and redo it until it just felt right. If I didn't do something right, I felt like I would play poorly, we would lose, I would let my team down, things like that. That then started to carry on into every aspect of my life. And that's when it became more than just superstitions, and it became OCD, or obsessive compulsive disorder. I started to create these rituals around every aspect of my life. I remember in high school, my homework would just have scribbles all over it, because when I would write, if I didn't like the way it looked or the way it felt when I wrote it, I would just scratch it out and write it again, scratch it out, write it again. And my papers would either be covered in pen or eraser marks, and it would just look terrible. And I have horrible handwriting to begin with, so it just looked like an absolute mess. And these habits just continued to grow and grow. And for some reason, I just thought something terrible would happen now. It wasn't just about winning or losing a game anymore. It was, would something happen to a family member? Would something happen to me? Would I fail this class? Would I get in a car accident? Would, you name it, I thought it. And these habits grew and grew, and for some reason, I just always thought something terrible was going to happen. Whether it was, again, how I wrote something, or if I closed the door the right way, or the way I put my pants on that day, put my shirt on. It was everything and anything you could think of. I was obsessed with having it be a certain way. And it got to the point where it wasn't just OCD anymore. And I started to have anxiety attacks. Anxiety attacks turned into generalized anxiety disorder, where I was anxious just all the time, because I had all these rituals that it was my entire life. Every aspect of my life had something that needed to be done a correct way, and so I was always on edge. I had this built up, anxiety, and I didn't know what it was. At the time, I had no idea what it was. No, don't get me wrong. Just like most of you, I'm sure when you start feeling these things, you start thinking that you're just going crazy, or something's seriously wrong with you physically. For me, when I get anxious, I still get anxious. It's just not nearly as bad. Some of the symptoms that I would have, I would get shaky, I get really hot, chest pains, dizziness. The dizziness one I still deal with a lot. That feeling of just like you're gonna faint, stomach cramps, feeling off balance, nervous, migraines. That's kind of a newer one for me. That lump in your throat, you feel like your throat's almost closing up. Nausea, that pit in your stomach. Feeling really restless, like you can't, stand still or just get in the moment at all. Negative thoughts. Negative thoughts is definitely something that goes with OCD as well. I'm sure a lot of these things you can relate to. I'm telling you these things not to look for sympathy. It's to let you know that these things you're dealing with, other people are too. You're not alone. Exactly, you're not alone, right? It's more common than you think to have these symptoms, and them not being something like a serious medical condition, like a brain tumor. Anxiety is super powerful and has a lot of crazy side effects. And with all these symptoms, it can be really discouraging and take a toll on you. When I was 18 is when my anxiety pushed me into a depression. And I remember I went and saw a doctor, and before I went, I actually talked to a coworker of mine who mentioned their anxiety, and they said that they were taking, a certain medication, and that made me feel better about giving it another try. So when I went there, I mentioned what was going on, and we both agreed that I should give the medication a try and actually, take it the correct way. So that was a lot of trial and error. Those of you who are on antidepressants know that it is not an easy process. Some people get lucky and find one that works for them right away. Some people, like myself, it took 6 different kinds. And the most recent one I tried helped me the most. And what it allowed me to do is it helped calm me down a little bit. I just had this crippling anxiety where I couldn't do anything. I don't like the way medication makes me feel. I don't. It numbs me up. It slows me down, but for what I needed, it helped because it allowed me to go tackle things that I've been struggling to do. Whether it was go visit those stores I didn't want to be in, whether it was go to the airport or driving, or there's so many things that were causing anxiety, and with the medication it allowed me to kind of face it. It made it a little bit easier. And you can definitely do this without medication. I'm just giving you my 2 cents on it. So for the last 4 years, I've tried hundreds of different techniques and strategies and tips and tools that have really helped my mental health. It's not just medication. Medication is just a little piece of it. There's many, many other things. Right now I'm not on medication. And my anxiety doesn't control me anymore. To this day, I'm not fully recovered, but anxiety does not control my life anymore. And over these years, I've learned so much about what can help your anxiety, what can make it worse. And that's the whole point of this channel, is I want to be able to help you. I started Anxious Ambition with the intent to raise mental health awareness and urge others to keep chasing their dreams even if they are experiencing anxiety. Like myself, I have my struggles, but I also have huge dreams for myself, and I'm not going to let mental illness get in the way. Just like you're not either. Throughout those college years when I was drinking and smoking all the time, I always had huge ambitions, and I would have a side hustle going on at all times, but I was never able to fully invest myself into it because I was never in the right frame of mind. And I would just give up. My goal is for you to not give up on your dreams and to keep pushing through the struggles and through the anxiety to create the life you want to live. I'm not a mental health professional, and all of my knowledge comes from experience and research that I've learned over the years, and I'm going to be sharing all that with you on this channel. I hope by sharing my story, it gives you a better understanding about where I've been and where I am today. Like I said, I still have anxiety, but it no longer controls me. If you're watching this video, please know that you are not alone. I know this might sound cheesy, but things really do get better. In order for that to happen, you need to work. You need to take the actions to make yourself better. Sitting on your ass and not doing anything, you're not going to change. You're not going to start feeling better. Just remember, we're all in this together and you're not alone. Thanks for watching.